Where's my fucking camera? Come on. Give me camera. There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, 'tis I, the Old Humble Guy. We are live from the Old Humble Distilling Company, and I am your friendly neighborhood sin merchant and spirit guide, the Old Humble Guy himself. Getting my video all set up over here on my end. Still, okay, so what we're going to be doing today is signing the back of bottles with our paint pen. Shouldn't take me more than an hour or so. I'm going to get my fancy cam, which is this one right here. It is currently trained on the inside of my distillery. Going to get our fancy cam turned around and pointed down at the table over here behind me. Reposition myself so that I can be over there to do the stuff on the back. I did nothing. Cheers, Ting. How are you? Ting Ting, how are you? Glad to have you in the house. And you know, it's a Tuesday, which means we are less than 5 days since the last mass shooting and less than 5 days away from the next mass shooting. And yeah, the internet's been a buzz with all the normal stupid shit, and it's just, oh God, it drives me absolutely fucking crazy. But we're not going to be worrying about that today. What we're going to worry about today is the other thing that got me charged up this morning. But we'll talk about that later. I want to get over here to the table. I need to get my camera, so I'm going to move the camera and get it set up while we do this. Okay, so what I do for the bottle cam is I lower my legs by 1 notch here. They then fit right there on the table. Nice. Turn the camera this way. Turn the camera this way. Knock it straight down. Set. It's not on the damn table. Move y'all this way. Move you this way. Turn you this way, and that should give me the camera angle that I need. Let's see if that worked. Did it work? Yeah, that's going to be perfect because I'll have the bottles right here. I may need to move it forward just a little bit, actually, because I want the bottles to be right here. So this goes. I also had a major accomplishment this week. I was invited to the new and unusual release party at the Texas Whiskey Fest for our 72-hour blackout bourbon. Uh-oh, I hit the cable. That's all right. I can fix this. So we're going to be just like that. There we go. Did you get it fixed? Yeah, perfect. So this will be demonstrating, doing a demo with our 72-hour blackout bourbon. That is the bourbon made with the melt water from the 72-hour blackout that we had back in February 2021. You know, we captured some of that water. We captured some of that water specifically to use in making some bourbon. It was kind of it was almost a joke the first time I did it, but then there was a news story about it, and people were asking about it, and a little bit of a buzz about it. So I figured, you know, maybe we should go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and actually use that whiskey or that water. Yeah, I'm playing a game on my computer. Okay, so I'm gonna get I'm gonna get everything ready. Gonna get everything set up. Get everything ready to go. Turn on the YouTubes on my phone. So we'll have an infinity cam going on here just a little bit because you'll be able to see the YouTubes on my phone. And I'm probably going to have to plug my phone in order to make sure. Okay, good audio too. You have a 30 pack of assault rocks you want to sell? Well, you know, they say rocks in the wrong hands, they're full of shit. Uh, they're full of shit because, you know, if rocks and guns were equally dangerous, then the Marines would be given rocks instead of guns. They're much cheaper. Months aged, we'll go with 6. Barrel size, 5 gallons. And I wonder if there's a way I can flip this over. Hang on, let me see here. Can I flip this upside down? Sources, camera, transform, rotate 180 degrees? Yeah, okay, that might work. So now y'all can see the bottle right side up. See, see now the bottle's right side up on camera. And this is batch number 042303, I believe. Let me double check my number real quick. 042303 because 042302 is in stores. Yeah. This is 042303. The third bottling of the 4th batch. Uh-oh. My phone. Okay, there we go. My phone was being dumb. So this is 042303. And like I said before, this is the end of an era. So this is actually the last time I'll have this numbering system on bottles because my new labels do not have this numbering system. So this is the last of the clear labels, the last of this whole process of numbering labels, numbering bottles, numbering batches. Because here forward, we're not going to have all this shit. Can y'all see that? Put it right there. Better still, I'm going to move this here so y'all can see that. There we go. But what got me charged up this morning, I think this is why I'm like, I think this was what got me all ready for a fight this morning. Well, first the audit ended, and 2 months of work to tell me that I don't owe any taxes and that I need to keep a little bit better records on the bottles that we sell on site. Thanks. Used a whole person for 2 months to tell me that shit. I could have told him that. 042303. There we go. 042303. Is that clear? No, that's not clear. There it is. 042303. End of an era. And that's good. I mean, I'm happy about that. But, you know, it just, I don't know, it just seems like a waste of damn time. I mean, there should be like a threshold under which you don't need to get audited. That's right, Ting Ting. It's the last of the labels you can't see across the room labels. 6 months aged, 5 gallons. 042303. And I will give y'all a full demonstration when we're done with this. I'm gonna reveal the new labels. because these are going to go into stores. This will be partly distillery stock and partly stuff in the stores. Probably half of it will go into the stores, half of it will stay here, but I'm going to tuck this stuff away when we release our 72-hour blackout bourbon. 5 gallons, 042303. But yeah, I'll give you all a full demonstration. The new labels will be today. I will show them off. No, the auditor didn't give me a fine. I had not paid. I had not paid all of my taxes for 2021. I had not submitted all of my reports for 2021, and I owed $25. And they said that's below the $75 threshold, and then I don't need to worry about it. I was fully prepared to write a whole goddamn check for $25. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But also, it's in the state's interest. It's not in their interest to shut down tax-paying entities. They want me to make money. They want me to succeed. And I appreciate that. I get that. The TABC's role is to work for the entire industry. Because if I make money, they make money. If I thrive, they thrive. They just want to make sure I was paying my taxes, and I get that. That's fine. I appreciate it. 2303. Notice I stop talking when I start writing. I can't write this and talk at the same time. I'm a skilled and talented individual. Mr. Jiggs. Cheers, Mr. Jiggs. You have a box in my house that is going to the UPS store in the morning. So keep your eyes open over the course of the next, should be early next week, late this week, early next week. You're going to get a box in your, a package delivered on your doorstep. Had a problem with my stamps.com account. It wasn't accepting funds. I couldn't transfer funds to it. But I've got that all rectified and dealt with. So 6 months aged, 5 gallons, 042303. And in fact, I have a box next to that box that's going to Scotland. Which is super duper awesome because Lewis McGowan, the guy who's getting that box from me, is an old fan of the distillery. A big fan of the product. He is the single source, the single reason we have most of our whiskey in England right now. And I'm gonna go open a door. It's just a little bit stuffy in here. I'm gonna open my doors and get a little breeze coming through here. It is 76 degrees outside. It is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I wish I could bottle this weather up and send it to some of you folks, because hell, I wish I could bottle this weather up and sell it in June or July. It's absolute. This is the season that makes August worth a damn in the state of Texas. It is beautiful outside. It's cool. It's not humid. At least not today. It's not humid. It is. It's just a delightful spring day, and it stays this way until, I don't know, probably early May, early to mid-May. It's not till late May that it really starts to get unbearable. Late May is usually when it starts to get really unbearable and really tough. But as of today, this weather is just absolutely just beautiful. Four, 2, 3, 0, 3. And this adds a little bit of charm. I know, the handcrafting aspect of the craft whiskey, and it's charming and it's nice and it's neat and all that, but it is not necessary. It slows down the whole process. All this stuff would have been boxed up a week ago. But I guess it gives me something to do. So the tornado sees a trailer park and runs into. Thanks a bunch for stopping by, Jigs. I appreciate that. And like I said, your package will be arriving in, I want to say, less than a week at this point. Oh, 03. You'll get your hat, bottle of bourbon, and bottle of rye. In fact, it might be one of these bottles of bourbon. No, the box is already at my house. I'm not going to swap out your bottle for one of these. You got a bottle that's already there. 4, 2, 3, 0, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want this to be a stack of 12. Thank you. All right. But what really got me charged up today, I think this is what got me charged up today. Because, I get in my moods, and I'm looking for a fight. It's fine. And there's plenty of shit out there to fight about. Destruction of our environment, the fact that no significant reforms have gone on in the last 40 years thanks to the boomers. There's all kinds of shit to be upset about. 4/23/03. But this snot-nosed fucking little millennial shit, that's not fair. Months aged 6, 5 gallons, 04/23/03. Now, the 72-hour blackout bourbon is a little bit more than 6 months aged. 04/23/03. It's about 8 months aged, actually. But I found we get a little bit more color, but we don't get a significant improvement in flavor. It gets darker, but it doesn't get it doesn't add a lot of flavor to it. At least not a significant improvement in flavor. Anyway, if I accidentally double number 2 bottles in 100 years, they could be worth 1 billion Bitcoin. It could be. Could be. I mean, I assume at some point all these bottles will be collector's items. But, every time I make an order of labels, I make a slight change to the label. I make just an ever so slight change, and one of the reasons I do that is because it gives me a chance to track what's in the stores and when the bottles that the store has on their shelves were bought, and kind of gives me an idea of the quality. Oh, hello. How about that? Because I've had bottles in the stores that were actually that had gone to a distributor and they had gotten the delivery of boxes out of order. You know what I mean? They bought a box and then they bought another box, and instead of delivering the first box, they delivered the second box. So, you know, they've gotten their deliveries out of order. That happens. But when I'm making changes in my process and improving my whiskey, you know, that means that I could have 3 or 4 year old whiskey hitting the shelves that's been made under an old process. And nothing wrong with that. But when you go 2 or 3 iterations away, you could end up with a significant difference. In quality and style. Oh, all right. I need to repair some of these labels. Some of these labels are a little bit imperfect. And what'll happen is when I go to stores and I see, you know, I pull the bottles off the shelves for tastings. I'll inspect each of the bottles. I'll check the collar to make sure they're all good, because sometimes, you know, they're not all perfect. I'll check the labels, see which ones are the best ones, and then I'll take the ones that have the least perfect labels and use those for the tastings. Use those as the sampler bottles instead of, that way I get the one that's imperfect and you don't have to. But even the imperfect labeling of bottles is part of the charm of a craft distilled whiskey, because every bottle, handmade bottle, is a little bit different than every other bottle. They're not all the same. And little imperfections is what you get sometimes when you get the bottles, especially ones that are hand labeled, handwritten, handwriting on the labels, hand signed. Man, if you could hear what I hear out here, this is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. It feels like I'm working in the, I'm literally working in the woods right now. It is absolutely beautiful. 6 months aged, 5 gallons, 04 23 03. Now he posts up this video. He says, so what about Gen X? Do they get a pass? You know, we give Gen Y a lot of shit. We give millennials a lot of shit. We give Gen, whatever they're called, Z a lot of shit. But what about millennials? Are we just going to give them a pass? You know, I got to thinking about that, obviously, as one does. Like, no, you know, Gen X doesn't deserve a pass at all. In fact, some of the most vile people on the planet, like Ted Cruz, are elder Xers. They're almost old enough to be super young boomers, but they're basically elder Xers. And you can't really tell the difference between elder Xers and boomers. But you know, we were given a rule book, told how to be and what to do. You're gonna have pensions, you're gonna have 401ks, you're gonna have a job, get your college education, buy a house, build wealth. And then we were like, cool, let's do that. Not realizing that the game was rigged for the boomers, not for us. We didn't have the numbers to keep it going. The boomers did, but it was, you know, built for them, not us. And all the rules changed All the rules changed on us while we were playing the game. All the rules. Houses got harder to buy because they got more expensive because of the low interest rate environment in order to protect the retirement and Medicare and all that shit. Low inflation, low interest rate, house prices went up. Don't buy an apartment. You can't have apartments. You want a house. And then the housing market crashed. So our vehicle of wealth stagnated. And if you wanted to get equity out of your house, you couldn't do it because you didn't have good enough credit. Everything changed on us in the middle of the game. But you know, that's fine. We persevered, we coped, we dealt. And hey, there's 2 more generations after us, our kids and our grandkids, that together we can build the machine, we can build the game to benefit us. And then what happened? The next generation didn't bother to show up. Then what happened? The next generation, they didn't bother to show up. And they're looking around like, why isn't anything changing? What are y'all doing? Like, motherfuckers, y'all gotta show up. Like, it doesn't matter if every single Gen X kid showed up to fucking vote, to do the work, to do anything. Because there's only like a third of us compared to the boomers. Nothing's gonna change if it's just us. And what happened for 40 years? Nothing's changed. Nothing. No reforms, no improvements. Like all the stuff from the previous couple of decades, undone. Over the course of 40 years. 2303. Can my product be found in stores near Austin, Texas? Yes, sir, Trumpet Master. The bourbon is found in Total Wine in both of the Total Wines in Austin, as well as the Specs all around the city. They have our straight whiskey special reserve and double oak rye. The store on what is the name of that store? Specs. It's almost like a person's name. Let me find it. Austin. This will tell me real quick. Hang on. Austin Specs. It's one of the big ones. Specs. The one on Mopac? High Meadow. Yeah, High Meadow. Mopac Expressway. Yeah, we're in the Mopac Specs for sure, but also Specs. Burnett? No, not Burnett. Burdett? No, not Burdett. Specs. Brody Lane. That's the one I'm thinking of. The Specs on Brody Lane and then the Total Wine down the street from that Specs. We're in both of those stores. So the Specs on Brody Lane were there. And then the Total Wine down the street from there has our bourbon. We're working on getting the bourbon in that Specs as well. But I'm actually gonna I'm making a trip up to Austin in 2 weeks for the Texas Whiskey Festival. Not this Friday, but next Friday. Where I will be showcasing all 4 of our flavors, plus at a private meeting or private event on the Friday the 21st. I'll be doing a demo of our 72-hour blackout whiskey. Missed off the 042303, right? 042303. 6 digits. But yeah, definitely a Specs near you. What is it that I was doing with the knife the other day when I was labeling the last batch? What I was probably doing was pulling the label up and setting it back down. Because these labels are supposed to go on perfectly smooth, but they don't always, and sometimes they have a bubble in them, sometimes they have a little crease. 303. Sometimes they have a little bubble, sometimes they have a little crease. Like this one right here, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little bubble right there, and I can just smooth it out. But if I can't smooth it out, then I got to lift the bubble up, or lift the label all the way up if it's bad. This is not so bad, so it adds character. 42303. So I'm gonna go live tomorrow night. I think I'm gonna do another movie show. I really enjoyed talking about Smokey and the Bandit last week. That was fun. I'm sure we'll get into heavy stuff during chat. And there's plenty to talk about. I mean, Russia is full on losing the fucking war in Ukraine, and that is just delightful. I mean, I'm a Cold War baby, so you know, I don't think of Russia as a strategic ally. They're a fucking enemy. I come from a generation of people, and Ting, you may, I don't know, you may be old enough to think of it this way too. I'm pretty sure Vanessa is. But there's a certain generation of people, you know, when you close your eyes and you think of a farm in Iowa, for example, 5 gallons. You close your eyes and think of a farm in Iowa. I mean, go ahead, do it. Think of a farm in Iowa. You think of green fields. You think of maybe a fistful of trees around a little farmhouse. Miles and miles of fields, acres and acres of fields stretched out in all directions, right? Maybe a barn, tractor out there doing its work. You know, I mean, you think of a farm, right? Right? Right. That's what we think of. Think of a farm in Iowa. Think of a farm. Think of a farm. Hell, even a farm. Oh, not in Canada. Canada's covered in snow all the time. But you think of a farm in Europe. You know, maybe a little bit smaller scale. Maybe a little smaller scale, but you know, it's still, you know, they got horses and sheep, and there's a little country cottage thing. A little country cottage. They got their fields. They've got their, you know, whatever, their cheese room, whatever the fuck they do in France. I don't know. But it's green, right? It's green. It's verdant. It's live. It's lively. That sort of thing. Hell, think of France in general. You know, first thought pops to mind is, for me at least, maybe a chateau, maybe Paris, something like that. Same thing when you think of like the United States in general. You think of, you know, maybe a farm, maybe a little farmhouse, maybe a city, oil rigs, whatever, right? Beaches. That's what you think of when you think of America. Now, close your eyes and picture Russia. First image that pops to my mind, I can't speak for you, but first image that pops to my mind is not some verdant green pasture, some lively little cityscape, and for that matter, any part of Eastern Europe, Hungary, or well, maybe a place like Hungary, but but you think of Eastern European or Russian places, and for me, it's like this little shack covered in snow, or this brutalist urban hellscape with blocky buildings that are like right up to the road, or these uh, uh, rectangular, just uh, uninteresting um, apartment complexes that stretch out for block after block after block after block. Just generic sky filled with soot and factory factory ash going out of smokestacks. That is for me, for the longest time, everything's tan and beige and just dull and boring. No art, no architecture, nothing interesting. That is for me, growing up in the 80s and 90s, that is for me the image of Russia. There's the Kremlin, obviously, but you get away from the Kremlin and then you just have these big, blocky, brutalistic buildings that are uninteresting, not architecturally designed at all, not just this industrial hellscape. Oh, 3. And it takes a lot of effort for me. Nukes flying up. It takes a lot of effort for me to imagine a place in Russia that looks like Iowa. It takes a lot of effort to imagine a place in Russia that looks like Paris or New York or hell, even Houston. Because I don't think of it. It's this old Soviet legacy of just boring, uninteresting. This boring, uninteresting, imposing type of um, architecture and building, or it's a snow-covered, just a snow-covered hellscape not fit for human habitation. There's not a whole lot of in between for me. So it was weird. I'll admit it. It was weird in the 90s when Russia was all of a sudden an ally. It was like, it's just, they've never been an ally. It was a whole new paradigm shift that I was not prepared for. And it could have been, clearly I wasn't the only one, because it could have been, this whole brand new future, new world order, whatever, with Russia as a global partner. And it was for a few years. But then it all went to shit. The capitalist experiment failed. Fascism took over. And now Putin is invading a foreign country and getting his ass handed to him. Without question. He appears to be fully losing, not being just stopped, but fully losing the fight. From what I've been reading and what I understand, they've been in the midst of their spring offensive, and you haven't heard anything about it because they've been getting their asses handed to them pretty spectacularly. And from what I saw in the news wires before I started the show, Putin has laid out conditions for peace, talking about any peace talks have to be talked about new world order, a new world order without a single global hegemon, and that's basically the world order that we've been building for the past, I don't know, since Bush 2. Okay, so this label has a nice fat crinkle in it, but I think I'm going to leave it be because it's not really affecting the integrity. It's just the back label. The front label looks good. I finally got seen the USSR fall down. Yeah. But oh, what was I talking about? But yeah, with the demographic change in Russia and this war being a fucking collapse, I mean, we are about to see a new world order usher in. One with Russia being fully left behind, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's long past time Russia realized that they're not the Soviet Union anymore. And you know the conditions. I mean, the conditions for peace. I always figured the conditions for peace in Ukraine should just be Russia get the fuck out of our country. It's a funny thing when a guy who's getting his ass handed to him in a war wants to talk about peace talks. Like, why would the people winning want to talk about peace talks? Like, get out. Like, that whole thing ends if Russia says, my bad, and just leaves. That whole fucking conflict ends. They just take their troops and leave. The whole conflict ends. And nothing gives a country a better argument for being a member of NATO than getting invaded by Russia. They're like, you don't need to be a part of NATO. We're a peaceful country. We don't want your territory, but we want to be a part of NATO because of better cooperation and better economic integration and better, just better everything as far as, you know, operational integrity and, I mean, let's face it, connection to the American war machine, the American war economy. I mean, we do war pretty good. You know, we make pretty good weapons and pretty good weapon system. That's probably, I mean, we make a lot of really cool stuff, but, you know, we make really awesome tanks. Really awesome, pretty much everything. And, you know, if you're making the argument that you don't need to be a part of NATO because you don't have any risk of being invaded, well, you probably shouldn't prove that by invading somebody. Just ask Finland and Sweden. They were all like, no, we're good. We don't need NATO. And then Russia invades Ukraine, and they're like, actually, we would really like to be in NATO now. We like your club. Can we join, please? We don't trust these sons of bitches. At all. At all. I should have one box that's just like the odd scratch and dent labels. I mean, you can look at this one probably to see from here. See this one? You can't really tell, but it's a little bit off center. So let me talk about the 72-hour blackout bourbon. I'm not going to reveal the label on that one yet. I'm not going to start bottling that for another week. And even then, I'm not going to bottle it all. I'm just going to bottle some of it. Bottle up about a case of it to do this tasting. Because the official release isn't until May 20th. Tickets are available through Eventbrite. 042303. But if you just want a bottle, You know, you don't have to stay for the show, but if you want to stay for the show, there's going to be 3 bands. 3 bands, magic, sideshow. It's going to be a whole damn production, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to have fun doing it. 42303. Scratch and dents at $5 off, or regular price and $5 more for the. See, the scratch and dents aren't even that bad. I mean, you wouldn't even, you know, it's usually the back label. It's almost 2 o'clock, 1:49. I'm going to do this for about another hour. I'm going to wrap up at about 2:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock, give or take. 6 months, 6 months aged. Come on. 6 months aged, 5 gallons, 42303. Oh, anyway, so in February of 2021, we had across the entire state of Texas, across the entire state from Lubbock all the way down to Brownsville, except El Paso, we had a catastrophic freeze. I'm hesitant to say once in a lifetime freeze because it wasn't once in a lifetime. We'd had freezes like this before. On this scale and on this this deep of a, you know, we've had freezes like this. Wasn't the first rodeo, as they like to say here in Texas. It wasn't our first rodeo. But this time around, due to shockingly corrupt business practices and just full-on incompetence, the grid completely failed. Our power plants couldn't get gas. 6 months, 5 gallons, 042303, because the wellheads on the natural gas pipelines that delivered gas to our power plants froze. Because what happens, you know, they don't deliver natural gas in trucks or boats to our facilities. They deliver it via pipeline. That's, you know, we get our natural gas in oil and gas facilities through pipelines. It comes from giant storage facilities through a pipeline, usually at a port somewhere or LNG storage facilities. A lot of times they're in a port. A lot of times they're just middle of the state in general, just random places. And it goes into the pipeline, and the wellhead controlling mechanisms, whatever, make sure that the power plants get their fuel. But what happened was the wellheads froze, so the power plants didn't get their fuel. Despite what Abbott and the other idiots said, it wasn't because it was the solar panels didn't work because it was cold, and it wasn't because windmills froze. It was because our natural gas power production froze. 042303. So we didn't have power. All across the state, we didn't have enough power to power the whole state. And it started with rolling blackouts, and then it just became blackouts. That's it. 6 months, 5 gallons, 042303. This was the same time that Ted Cruz decided to blame his daughters for a trip to Cancun rather than, help get the power back on or coordinate emergency efforts or anything like that. And then probably the most pathetic display of solidarity when he got caught and came back, he like pulled up to some place and got some water out of his trunk and dropped it off as if to say, see, I donated water. Ted Cruz is a slug. And let's never ever forget that Ted Cruz is an absolute slug. First he was caught trying to flee the state in the middle of a crisis. And yeah, I know there wasn't a whole lot that he could do, but what's her name? AOC, Octavio Cortez, whatever her name is. She came to the state and actually did more to help people in the state than Ted Cruz, our own senator. So it's not like, there's nothing that can be done. I mean, there's work that can be done. You can do work. Considering he was one of the people who created that problem or helped to create that problem, created the conditions under which that problem manifested itself. He was one of the architects of our power nightmare. And it's not just him. It goes all the way back. Democrat and Republican alike. They're just the ones holding the bag today. And most loudly blaming the wrong people and the wrong things. Green New Deal. That's what you get when you have the Green New Deal. Green New Deal. Green New Deal. Burp, burp, burp. Green New Deal does not exist yet. Hello, bug. Anyway, so during that freeze, we use rainwater for our whiskey. We have a big old tank over there and two big tanks back behind me over here. 042303. We collect rainwater, and I came out here after the roads cleared. After the roads cleared and we were able to drive, I come out here to check my pipes and make sure everything's okay. Because I'll admit, I was in full-on denial up to the point where it happened. Because everybody's like, it's going to be a freeze. We're all going to die. And I'm like, it freezes all the time. It's not going to be that big of a deal. We always have freezes. We always have weather events. It always gets cold. Big deal. It's just wintertime. This happens literally every year. Why are we freaking out about winter? Calm down. Then the power goes out. Like almost immediately after I say probably something like that. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Power goes out. And I'm like, ah, shit. 42303. So I come out here and I check the pipes and I check the facility and make sure everything's okay. And I walk around to the water tanks in the back and I hear it draining. Not draining like pouring out the bottom, draining like the overflow drains. Because we have an overflow drain so that, the top doesn't blow off the thing during our monsoon season. And we do have a monsoon season here. We have an absolute monsoon season. But, when it's raining the most, when we get our hurricanes and whatnot, we don't want it to overfill. So we have what's basically a release valve. If it gets too full, it drains into the creek behind the distillery. So anyway, I go back there and I listen, and yeah, it's draining into the creek. And I'm like, holy crap, we have more water than we know what to do with. So what I'm going to do, I had a couple of extra totes laying around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these totes up. I filled up a couple of totes with some extra rainwater, pulled a little bit off the top, if you will. And decided as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to make whiskey with this water. Special batch of bourbon. Make a special batch of bourbon, and we'll call it our 72-hour blackout bourbon. It'll be a variant of our Boomtown bourbon. I wanted it to be an all-new bourbon, a bourbon I'd never made before. Like a blend of, possibly a blend of all our flavors together. But I didn't. I just made it, a special batch of our Boomtown bourbon, aged extra long for about an extra it's probably about 9 months at this point. An extra 2 or 3 months. So it's extra dark as far as our bourbons go. I mean, you can tell this is kind of light. Our typical Boomtown's a little bit darker than this. The county came in and fined me for collecting. The county does not. No, the county. We don't have any rules against collecting rainwater for facilities use out here. And it's a damn good thing too, because the municipal water tastes like shit out here. I mean, it's good drinking water. Don't get me wrong, it's good drinking water. But when you use it for 50% of your product production, you can tell the difference between this stuff and the stuff I'm using now, and the stuff that's delivered by the good Lord himself. Water delivered by the Lord for your whiskey enjoyment. And I should probably do a commercial that's basically that. But yeah, so that's what we did. The blackouts weren't completely done at that point. We still had another day's worth of blackouts to go. That was probably day 2, because everything froze the first day. Let's go Monday, Tuesday. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was Monday, Tuesday. It might have been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday. No, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday I did my show. It might have been Wednesday when I did my show. That's when we found out that Ted Cruz got caught. And I had a righteous indignity that that rat bastard one, two, three, four. Oops. There we go. But that's why our special whiskey is called the 72-hour blackout bourbon, because it is made with water collected from the freeze that caused the 72-hour blackout. It is only available here at the distillery. I will not be delivering it to retailers. But I also will not be selling it at a premium here at the distillery. It'll just be the regular price, $60 bottle of Boomtown bourbon, but it will be the only bottle of Boomtown bourbon that we have available. So I'm just over here moving the bottles over. I've got case plus 9 staged up in front of, like right here, You see that? Yeah. So I've got a case +9 right over here, like laid out, and behind them is just rows and rows and rows of cases of whiskey, already signed and already done. Um, I could put it in picture so y'all could see that, but that's not really interesting. Months aged 6, 5 gallons, 2303. But I am going to have to solve a problem real soon. 6 months aged, 042303. And I might number the 72-hour blackout bottles, sign them and number them with a gold pin on the back. Maybe. But that's the whiskey that I'm presenting at this special dinner. At the Texas Whiskey Fest. And it's a cool little setup they've got. It's 12 tables with 10 people each, or 10 tables with 12 people each. Yeah, it's 120 people. But it's your chance to showcase something that you can't buy in stores. It's new and unique and unusual. Next year, I'm going to do our peach brandy. Maybe that's why I'll do the peach. Ooh, peach pecan brandy. I mean, it's John Philippe's old recipe, but I need to look at the recipe and see what all he used as far as flavorings of his brandy. I know he used whiskey barrels, but he also had a pecan grove on his property, back there in sunny Louisiana. See, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cases plus what I have staged here. So we're making good progress, kids. Making good progress. I was gonna do a pecan rye this year, but I just don't have the materials to do the pecan aged rye. God damn, this weather's beautiful. And I didn't notice it until now, but this pen smells like blue paint. I know it's a paint pen. It's supposed to smell like blue paint, but it really smells like blue paint. I'm beginning to actually fucking smell it. So if I start rambling incoherently, as opposed to what I normally do, is just rambling. I can't remember what AOC's first name is. Is it Andrea? Alexandria? Anna? I can't remember what her first name is. 6. And I probably ought to give my senator a call, old Ted Cruz. You know, since he's a big advocate of armed guards in schools to prevent school shootings. And fewer doors. You know, this bank only had one door and it had 2 armed guards. So, you know, it's important to stay in contact with your senators and find out what bullshit they're on this week. I mean, you know, since drag queens are so dangerous, maybe the bank should have drag queens protecting the money. You know, since they're so fucking dangerous. But for real, this shit pisses me off. The fact that it just keeps happening and we just shrug our shoulders and we're like, well, we can't do anything about it. It just bothers me so much. I mean, that's what we've become. We've become a people who just shrug our shoulders and go, whoop, there's nothing we can do about it. When it used to be, I mean, could you imagine if they did that in the 60s? If in the face of Jim Crow laws and racial segregation and oppression, everybody just shrugged their shoulders and said, well, that's just how we are. That's embarrassing and disappointing. That's what we've come to. That's who we've become. Just, that's the price to pay. You know, dead children, just people minding their own business, going to the bank, getting killed. You know, guys coming home from work who've just had a bad day and they decide it's time to kill their entire family. That's what we've become. Nothing we can do about it. That's just who we are as a people. Start rambling like that is her name, Alexandria. Right. I hit it eventually. AOC. I couldn't remember what the A stood for. I'm not as obsessed with her as my colleagues on the Republican Party seem to be. 6 months aged, 5 gallons, 04, 23, 03. And I'm trying to figure out what movie to do tomorrow night, what movie to talk about. I've got 3 more bottles here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more cases. I wish there was a way I could zoom it in tighter, but this is all y'all get. This is the best y'all get. 6 months aged, 5 gallons. All right. Another batch of whiskey. Bring me some bottles. Whew. I mean, I am out here in the fresh damn air. A well-ventilated room, if you will. And I can smell this paint. It doesn't even smell like this like when I actually paint. I do have a cool project that I'm going to be working on alongside the bathroom installation. And I'm going to keep that under wraps for a little while longer because it's going to be possibly the coolest thing that I've ever done. That noise you hear, that's just a bottle scraping across the table. Just so you know. But it's going to be, without question, the coolest project that I've ever done. Isn't that a nice knife, too? Look at that knife. It's a nice knife. I got my boys, all 3 of my boys, one just like it. They were knife twins. Have I ever watched the series The Glory? I don't think I have. No. Oh, 4, 23, 03. The Three Amigos, who's that? I mean, I know who the Three Amigos, the movie. Talk about the movie, The Three. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I got to see if it's available. I want to watch it one more time before I talk about it. I mean, basically, if I'm going to talk about the movie, I'm going to watch that movie again so it's fresh. And I watch a lot of damn movies. The Glory is based on true South Korean crime. That's cool. There is a cool movie, South Korean. I think the first South Korean movie I ever watched, Train to Busan. I think that's the first true South Korean movie. You know, in Korean, filmed in Korea, all that shit. There were a lot of movies during the pandemic that we watched. Three. That we watched. They're basically the same type of theme, you know, zombie attack, whatever. Everybody disappears, you're alone, isolated. It's a nice knife. Can I get a knife? And shot. 6 months aged, 5 gallons. 042303. I would actually like to. One of my old hobbies was knife making. I made like 3 knives. My then girlfriend, now wife, got me a kit when she went to France to study abroad. That is, to study overseas, not to, you know, study abroad. Hey, Vanessa Kitty. She got me a knife making kit, and it took me about a day to make the knife. It was just assembly, you know, all the pieces, put them together, polish the wood, shape the wood. It was a cool little project, and I've since made 2 or 3 others. I made a skinning knife, a hunting knife, a skinning knife, and a letter opener. And the letter opener, I dropped it like days after I got it. It was a soapstone handle. Days after I finished it, I dropped it and broke the damn handle and had to glue, you know, tape it together and glue it together. My oldest helped me with that. Helped me with the knife, so I haven't replaced it, but I would like to replace that handle at some point, just because it's like busted and all ratchety. You know, I could move these bottles down. Y'all can't see at all what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. I could move these bottles down and make it easier, because there's only like 2 cases. In fact, should I? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move, not y'all, move everybody over by a couple of slots. I think this will work. Y'all just gonna have to deal with me being off camera for a minute. I know, right? My beautiful face. Not that you can see my face anyway. My beautiful hands. Got to work on this thing real quick. Move everybody up by a couple of spots. I mean, I'm just trying to make life a little bit easier on me, so I don't have to get up and walk all the way across the damn table just to put the bottles away. I'm still going to need to traverse some territory to get it all done. Speaking of traverse, got contacted by a guy today from a service that might allow me to sell my whiskey online. It's a service that's being used by the folks at Traverse City Distillery, and I don't know if they pronounce it Traverse City where they're at, but that's how I pronounce it, Traverse City. I may be wrong, but this is Texas. They can fuck off. Can't be Texas and wrong at the same time. Anyway, so there's a very real possibility that in 45 states we will be able to deliver our whiskey to 45 states in the Union in the very near future. I have a meeting with the guy on Thursday, and we're going to talk about it and see if it's a possibility, if it's a thing. And then, you know, we won't have to do this thing where you pay me, then I go to the store and get the whiskey, and then have to figure out how to get my stamps.com account to work, and then do all the jumping through hoops and shit to get whiskey to you folks who don't live here in the state of Texas. All right. Burned up cedar fence post yesterday. Watching fire pit from up. Oh. Nice wood from. Ooh. For knife and tool handles. Yeah. Tool handle. Just all that. I've come to really enjoy the crafting part of what I do here. Just wish I could sell the shit that I make. You know what I mean? Or better monetize it, I guess is the better term. I can sell it. Just want to be able to monetize it more effectively. There. That works. Although this isn't going to work forever because I don't have enough space on this side still. It's 2:21. I got about 30 minutes left and only a couple of cases to go. This isn't going to be a problem. Blade and handle blanks I was going to make money off of. For the punk, I'm in the middle of making disappear. Oh, you're in the middle of making disappear? Oof. 42303. Stole them a lot. Well, Jesus Christ. I would not want to be on your bad side in general. Just in general. Images of you rappelling down the side of a building with a knife in your hand and clenched in your teeth. One of those retractable rappelling ropes. Come down the side of a building, stab me in my forehead, and then zzz, right back up the side of the building. And my new labels are also paper. So that's going to make, if I wanted to write on the labels themselves, it's going to make it easier. The material, these are kind of a polypropyl, polyplastic type of a label. So, like saran wrap, except more durable. You know what I mean? So, you know, Sharpies will stick better to the paper. Sharpie will stick better to the paper and be a little bit cleaner. Won't have to write on the glass. Yeah, I don't have enough room again. And I don't want to, do I? Do I want to move everything over? I do. I'm going to move everything over again. I'm just going to start over here. And instead of sliding everything across the table, I'm just going to take 3 rows. How many rows do I need to move? I'm wasting so damn much time rearranging the fucking furniture over here. I did play Fortnite earlier today. Did not play well. Got picked on by a bunch of little kids and felt really bad about myself. Old man problems. Okay. Slide. That worked. I think I can do this by just sliding. Move everything down by 1. Three Amigos. I think that's a good plan. I need to see if that movie's available. I think I'm going to talk about that's a great movie. I think it's a remake too. I think that's a remake. I'm going to have to look. I don't think that's an original story. But it's such a great movie. All right. Got plenty of room now. Everything's moved. I don't want to know anything about where you're going to be with any disappearing. I don't know anything about it. That is between you and him. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. I don't know nothing about it. Lord. I mean, there are some days I can play Fortnite and not suck, but those are rare. And today's a Tuesday, so it's update day. So everybody's playing and going to the same places and looking for the same things, and you know they're all a bunch of sweaty McSweatersons. Six, 5 gallons, 42303. My littlest, my youngest, who's 11. You know, I talk about when I'm playing the games. He's like, "Well, your lobbies are easier than mine." What do you mean my lobbies are easier than yours? I don't suck as much as you suck. It's not true. I suck much more than he does. He's when he plays well, when he pays attention to what he's doing, he plays really well. When he's just goofing around, he sucks. he sucks real bad. I've gotta concentrate in order to be mediocre. But when I play, I don't always play just to win the game, which sounds dumb. But Fortnite has quests, tasks, quests that you can go do to get XP and levels. So I'll focus a lot of energy on just the tasks at hand. And accomplish the quest. I won't go and necessarily play for the fighting and winning. I play for the stuff, you know. Gives me something to do. While I'm getting my ass kicked by a bunch of kids. There it is. Oops. There we are. In case y'all were wondering what it is I'm doing, that's exactly. This is just a easy day of work today. And I am gonna, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna go over to the other side of the building here and measure out my the room that I need for my bathroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame in the bathroom and basically set it up so that I can extend a wall to both directions, this way and this way, to finish out the room if necessary. Well, when it's necessary, because it's going to be necessary. All right, this one had one too many wrinkle in it. Was not satisfied with that. So I got to smooth it back down. That'll do. That'll work. We're still at 1,980 subscribers. I was a little bit ambitious with the idea of hitting 2,000 by the end of last month, but I thought it was possible. But when I think that the next milestone will be 2,500. Oh. I may have to drop the price on tickets to our May 20th event too. See, y'all tune into my streams like this, and you just get full on stream of thought. Conversation coming out of my face. I mean, that thought just popped into my head thinking about the tickets for our event. I mean, it's $25 for 3 bands, magic, food, and a drink. $25 for 3 bands. Actually, that's a pretty fucking good deal. I'm going to leave it at that. 1 free meal. Twins are one time playtime after homework. On weekends, we play a few hours, and I always lose. I don't so much limit their time on the game unless it's like during the week. In the summertime, I kind of do. They're like, just play for a couple hours. It's enough. I know I limit my time. I give myself about an hour to play at a time. Which, if you're good, is only a couple of games. When you suck, it's like 6 or 8 games. But, I take a break from work, I'll go play a couple of games. When I fire up my stills and I start doing live streams while distilling, I mean that's a good time. Because I won't be able to take a break from distilling to go play games because I'll have the, have I frozen? No, it's just my phone. My phone froze. Hello? What's going on? My phone froze. The Wi-Fi network sucks so bad here at the distillery. I need to yell at Comcast. My phone is plugged in. It's hardwired. My computer's hardwired. My phone is Wi-Fi. But anyway, no, when I start distilling live, doing a few runs live, I haven't done it lately. Because I haven't, every time I've run my still, I've had other stuff to go do. So I run the still, I set it all up, and I go do stuff. Retry. It says connect to internet. Wi-Fi here sucks so much. There we go. Did I lose something? Yeah, oh, I see. You're asking me if I'm still, or you're telling me that I'm still here. Yeah, it was my phone. My phone just crapped. Or my Wi-Fi, rather. Um, I'll also use the knife if there's a bubble in the middle of the label, like if there's a little bubble here, I'll poke a hole in it and smooth it out that way. All right, we're down to our last 8 bottles. And they're way over here. There we go. Old man noises would be the caption on that. 6 months aged, 5 gallons, 042303 is the batch. last couple. 6, 5 gallons. 42303. Only stupid question is one never. Oh yeah. Oh thanks. Yeah, I'm a big fan of. I mean, there's stupid people who ask questions. No, there's no. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. There's no such thing as stupid questions. There are stupid reasons for asking questions. If you're willing to ask it, though, that's a pretty, you're in league with some fairly clever individuals if you're at least willing to ask the question, as opposed to just meander through in ignorance. But in some cases, I guess it's better to just, keep your mouth shut. I don't know. It's a good adage that there are no stupid questions. The only stupid questions are ones that go unasked. It's a good adage, and that's it. That's the last one. All right. So now I've got to take measurements of my bathroom that's over there. I know it says it's flipped 180 degrees, but it doesn't look like it's flipped 180 degrees. Like, I'm at the bottom of this. Oh, this is the top of the camera, I guess. Over here, that's the top of the camera. That's the bottom of the camera. So yeah, I guess it is flipped 180 degrees. Okay, it's 2:41. I need to wrap up. I need to see the size of that room over there. Look at my old plans. So let's flip the camera around, shall we? Let's transform one more time. 180 degree flip. Okay. This is where we're going to be. That is the future bathroom of the distillery. And if memory serves, this is a 10 by 8 room. I want to take a quick measurement because I've got it. In fact, it's 8 by 9 by 10. Huh? This says 8 by 9 by 10 right here. Let's see here. I believe it is from here to here. That is 7. It can't be that. Let's see here. Maybe it's from here to here. That is 8 feet. It says 8 foot wide. And I had a mark on my floor, probably right about here, which means that is 8 foot there. So 8 foot by 8 foot. And the height of my bathroom will be 8 foot, 8 foot high.